What's up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. I figure it's about time for an EDC update. Let's check out what I've been carrying here over the last few months. All right, so I'm going to kick it off with a couple of really easy, quick items, low-hanging fruit with a T. I don't know what fruit is, but the extra wallet continues to be my main wallet. It's got a little bit of patina going on here with some of the snail trails, and I do have the additional, it is very thin if you just want to carry some cards, but I like to keep my ID, concealed carry permit, and then my health insurance card from work on the outside here, and then just a few cards on the inside, and then occasionally when needed I'm able to throw some cash on this side. Aluminum, super good construction. It's been holding up really well. It's not developed any real wobble or play or anything that has me concerned that it won't hold up, and I think Extra actually does have a pretty good warranty for their wallet. So I really like this one, so much so that I bought each of my kids one for Christmas, and they've really been enjoying it and carrying it as their main wallet ever since I gave this to them. So that's the Extra wallet, and I'll make sure that I link this stuff all for you down below. The other thing that I don't show off as often, this is very circumstantial for me depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing and how I load it out, but that is my Data Crew What a Slide. I really do like the size of this one. Now it is a little bit of a heavier carry, but the nice thing here is it has some Velcro on this side, so you can throw your favorite REs on here and personalize it and customize it to your needs. To me, I went with fully cramming it full of anything that I could. So the Jack Sack here, Lefties, Dead Nuts, I don't know that those are available anymore. The Fight Club I found over on Etsy. Nope Dealer, I believe this. Feelings, and this one, man, what's he called? I forgot what he's called. Anyway, it's on the Data Crew website. I found Grogu over here. I'm not Grogu. I found Groot on Etsy, and I found the grenade on Etsy, and some of these do glow. Don't remember which one. And the pouches, right? I think that was also Data Crew. Whoops, forgot to. So some of them do glow. I don't think the pouch is right glows. I think it just has a colorway that really works. And I don't think Jack Sack glows, but I'm pretty sure Dead Nuts, Groot, the Grenade, and the Fight Club all definitely glow. So if you're looking for that, I think they indicate that on there. On the outside zipper pack, I do keep some Band-Aids in here. And sometimes I'll throw some cash or my ID if I'm going to the gym in there so that I have this. And then I do have the EMP EDC Atom Bomb, and I think that's Ultim there. I want to grab that also for this pull here, but I do like that pull a little bit different than this one. This has held up well, which is one of the reasons it's still on there. I wanted to check that out. But on the inside, I do have just any microfiber cloth to help keep the glasses clean. The main thing that I use in here the most, if I'm being totally honest, are going to be my tune buds. This is going to be whether I'm working in the yard, I'm grabbing these out of the pouch and keeping this stuff nearby just in case. When I go to the gym, I use this. You can see some snail trails on here because even though I throw the microfiber cloth on there, it's still pushing in pretty well, and the microfiber cloth does move around a little bit, so it does scar it up some. To help me out here, I have this USB to USB-C charger, which is great for both my tune buds and for my phone, so it does cover multiple needs for me should I need it. On the inside, I forgot to mention I got a couple more REs because it does have a piece of Velcro down here. So the EMP, EDC, and Sharp Knives Matter RE are in here. I also have, just in case I'm having trouble trying to decide whether or not I want to buy a knife, I have a coin here to help me. So if it lands on this side, it's not really sure whether or not I should buy it. And then on this side, it's letting me know I should definitely buy it. So that is the challenge coin that I keep in here. I also have this very rare mini pineapple with the Sagaha pattern on here. This one is a AAA battery. I haven't put any tritium or anything on here because it pretty much lives in the pouch. I carry the land apples, which I think are a little bit more useful, but this actually has come in handy in a pinch, and I just really love the Sagaha pattern on here. I think they did a fantastic job with it. So that's everything on this side. The other side we'll be able to roll through a little bit quicker. On this side, I have my SOG Power Pint. Sometimes I do take this out and put the pocket knife in there just in case, but I have found that this pretty much does cover my needs. Should I need a knife, I do have a little bit of I do have a serrated blade here, and I do have a straight edge here, you know, if I needed it just in case, but it also allows me to use bits with the holder here on the end, so it is very versatile. I do wish I would have kept the silver one. I didn't realize how poorly done the coating is on this. I mean, it's held up considering I'm just using it for light duty tasks, but the coating has come off 100% on the tip there. So I wish I'd have kept the silver one. I went with the black because I was at one point going to black all this out, and then when I realized I didn't like the coating, I moved away from it. CRKT stash tool with T6, T8, a Phillip, and a flathead in here, and then a Bang TI mini side click, just in case I need to jot a note down or something for myself for any ideas for videos or notes or something like that I want to do later. I do like to handwrite some stuff down, but I have been trying to get better about using my notepad on my phone as well, because I don't always have something to write on nearby. But that is the pouch. Really, really quick overview of that. That is the Data Crew Wheel Slide. All right, the stuff that everybody wants to see, I'm sure. Oh, no, I forgot to grab a couple things. One sec. Okay, now we're ready to get going. So I'm gonna cover the only fixed blade I have with me right now. I got rid of my Vased Mink because I wanted the reverse Tonto, so I sold my drop point for the reverse Tonto because I kind of wanted to mix up the blade shapes. But the only fixed blade, because it made such an impression on me, and I may pick up the small, and I'm thinking about the Canary for a neck knife. I've never tried to do a neck knife carry, but I am kind of interested in trying it out and seeing how I do with that. But the Asher Knives Little Buddy, out of stock as of the recording of this, but I'm hoping because it did sell well for a EDC fixed blade that they'll bring some more in stock. I'm hoping they're hearing demand for that to come in stock. I did pick up the S90V because, again, for everyday carry purposes, but they do have a 3V variant, which I think would be a little bit tougher if you plan to really abuse and use this one, and they did a fantastic job. Fold over Kydex sheath, pocket clip carry, keeping this entire setup nice and slim. Let's keep it going. All right, so before we get into the companion carries themselves, we're going to talk about what I carry them in. I generally either throw it, if it's small enough, in the 5th pocket. So blue jeans cover that. And then companion carry a little bit smaller. You know, if I have a drop point as my main carry, I might have like a sheep's foot Warncliffe reverse Tonto as my companion carry, which is usually going to be a little bit smaller. I'm generally carrying that in the ARC Company organizer. I have the Rambler XL. I have 3 land apples, and I'm actually thinking about changing the red out to a black because I don't have that much red gear left. I've kind of streamlined into like monotones and blacked out gear, and I don't really have anything that goes with that. I just really like this red land apple a lot, and it's got a ton of tritium in here. I don't know if this will show up. But I have the red tritium that kind of matches that as well, the flashlight itself. So that's the only reason I've kind of kept it around, is because I really like it. But truth be told, pictures and trying to show off my gear and stuff doesn't really match too much. I have 3 titanium pins. I have, which is no longer available, the Smooth Precision pin. One of the most unique designs I've ever seen, where they incorporate the pocket clip into the actual bolt action here. So very cool how they did this one. I've never tried to take it apart to see how to get into this, if I needed to get into it, but I've never really had the need. But great size. It's the mini Smooth Precision pin. It's just the basic one. I also have the mini side click and the mini bolt action from Tactile Turn for the other 2 pins that I carry. think that's right. Yeah, one is anodized, the other one is raw. So Rambler XL, we're going to talk about the knives that generally go in there, and we're going to start from with the smallest to the largest. So I have two versions of this. This is the Nip Light, 154 cm aluminum scales, black wash blade for the two that I have. I just have the dark mode version, which was available at Blade Bench. They're out of stock. And then the other one is just the gray with the purple. Both have the black blades. These generally end up going in the fifth pocket. They do not go into the organizer. The next two knives that I talk about as well will be fifth pocket. And then the last two that I talk about generally will go into that organizer. Some of the ones that made the list can flex into an organizer depending if I'm carrying something bigger. But I really like this for a utility blade shape. It's great to do trace cuts, detailed cuts, open packages, open letters, cut some string, very unassuming and discreet. I'm able to really use this without raising any eyebrows, and it has surprisingly amazing action and is very fidgety. I think about the only thing I struggle with is the thumb deployment, and again, that's more because large hands, but reverse flick, flipper tab, access to the lock bar is amazing. I can't wait to see what the Nip L looks like. They're going to do a large nip, which I think is going to actually be the size of the Hedgehog, I think he said. So it's going to be larger than this one, but it's probably going to actually be still a very small utility knife. But really like the Nip Light. That's really a fun one to fifth pocket carry. The next one that I fifth pocket carry is going to be the Rosecraft Lusahachi. This has been my favorite Rosecraft to date. I really love the sterile bolsters. The wood is very nice. I would love to see this in that gray bone that I saw recently on a Beaver Creek Barlow. That was really beautiful. Nice clip point blade shape, very useful for me. They got the tip nice and low, so very good for detail cuts. So far, the D2 has not corroded on me any. And I'm just removing my fingerprints to see if I can see really good. But I think it's held up pretty well. I'm glad for that. The D2 takes an amazing edge. It does take a little bit more effort to get it, but it takes an amazing edge, nice and toothy, which I really do appreciate. And it's a very useful handle shape here. I'm able to get 3.5 fingers on there. And again, opening packages, opening mail, cutting a loose string, things like that are why I pull this out. And I love the walk and talk on this one. Very good pull too. So great action, very good pull. Fit and finish on this is phenomenal. I would recommend, if you don't like a clip point, you can definitely, if you want to try a traditional, modern traditional, Rosecraft is definitely one of the most affordable ways that I have found that are very well done and lots of options for you. So definitely check out Rosecraft. Traditional Pocket Knives is my favorite vendor for checking them out, so they're linked down below if you're interested in that. This one is probably the largest fifth pocket carry, so sometimes it goes into the Rambler XL, and sometimes I kind of put it in at an angle in the fifth pocket. That's going to be the QSP Hedgehog. This is the Traditional Pocket Knives exclusive. You got a full-length hollow ground blade. I did have it modded to round out the edge there to have it more Warncliffy and less of that bull-nosed on there. Just, I wanted to try an aesthetic that was a little bit different. I got the chill vibes here to kind of go with a lot of the blue finish knives that I have. I'm able to get 4 fingers on here. I hang off the back a little bit, but very comfortable. It's an absolute laser beam. I have found this M390 with this cutting geometry performs extremely well. I mean, it is seriously, guys, stupid thin. Stupid thin. It comes down to such a thin tip. Very strong pull like my Lusahachi, and very nice walk and talk on this one as well. So nice and broken in and still very strong walk, very strong back spring, very nice fit and finishes on here. And I think they still have a few of these in stock. And I think they even were running a sale over the summer where you could get them for like maybe $100 or something like that. I think originally they were 145. And I think during their summer sale, man, these were like $90 to $100, I want to say. So I really like this. Nice companion carry. If you wanted to try a premium, if you're into modern traditional slip joints and you wanted to try a premium, this is definitely one to check out. And I do believe they are coming out with a spear point. You could thank Austin over at Traditional Pocket Knives for that. He had them sample some spear points. They took them to Blade Show West and they completely sold out of all the prototypes. They sold them all. So obviously there's some demand there. I think the spear point is going to look phenomenal on this. But that is the last of my fifth pocket slash moving into companion carries. I got two that are a little bit more full size. We're going to start it off with the Dvo Knives Lush. This also happens to be the Traditional Pocket Knives exclusive knife that is on the table. I think this is the last one. But the Lush is a great companion carry, jimped shape, jimped size knife, meaning you can office carry it, date night carry it. It's going to be very small, discreet in the pocket. The wire pocket clip's going to hide everything all the way out to the very tip. All you'll see is the little tiny short wire clip on here. It is manufactured by Concept, designed by Dvo Knives, Kevin and Colin. You got a sheep's foot blade shape on here, hollow ground, S90V, which is far more steel than what you'll probably need for this. This is definitely going to cut forever. It'll be able to open your packages, do your trace and detail cut work. It'll be able to cut your loose string off your clothes. All of those tasks are going to be handled very well. And Concept is the OE that delivered this knife, and they did a good job. The first run, I'll admit, detent was a little too light on mine. I didn't really enjoy it at all. But this one here, it's about a 20% improvement over the detent that I experienced with the first one. And again, this is just my one sample. But I have not tuned the detent on this one at all. I thought about it when I first got it. I decided not to because I was trying to use this top flipper like a traditional top flipper, but I found that it's very stout for that front flipper. And then I just do the reach around here. For whatever reason, I'm able to get better leverage and I'm able to move faster than I am. If I try to come out on the top and flip it, it feels a little lethargic to me. I'm kind of continuing or following through. So I'm starting it and then opening it and following through. So I don't really enjoy a top flipper anyway, but for the reach around, I like it. And then the front flipper works really good. Super stout for that front flipper. And then it is a very crispy. I would say it's yeah, it's crispy. I'd call it crispy because people ask me all the time. It's crispy for sure. But they did a great job with the inlay here, and the transitions are good. And Kevin has said all the time when he talks about the OEs that he works with, like Kubi and Concept, the more they do with them and the more feedback that they give them, that future runs and future versions are done very well. So I very much enjoyed this one. I think it's the only one that I have that's like in this particular size. I think the closest thing that I have next up from this would be the Echo, which is not on the list this month, ironically, and that's just because I've had so many new things come in. But that's the last of the smaller companion carries. This one here going straight into the pouch. The next one that I have is a companion carry, but it is a much different animal, and that is the Vased Hedgehog. This has a custom hollow grind from Sat2 Dave. He did a fantastic job with this. He even put a mirror edge, which I normally don't do mirror edges on mine, but it's so pretty, and he did such a great job that I've just kind of left it on there. I have the S35 yen variant. This one here is a stubby knife with a shorter blade stock, and I really do like this one a lot. I just did the hollow grind because I wanted it to be extra slicey, but truth be told, This knife is probably meant to be more hard use than what I've currently set it up for. We didn't do a super thin grind here. You can see it's just thinner than the stock. The stock was a little bit more robust, definitely meant for more hard use. This has the top liner lock, as Vased is calling it, but it is a Spyderco style compression lock with a button. So what happens is it falls down onto that shelf with the top liner lock, and then it's sandwiched underneath the stop pin. So it is being pushed down onto that ledge to compress the lock down and make it very strong, very secure. You have a detent ball, so it's very satisfying. It actually has a real detent, not like the plunge grinds plunge lock button locks. This one here actually has a true detent, and it's very satisfying to use. So I really like this one a lot. I'll have the link for Vased down below if you're interested in this one. Easy to recommend. The S35EN is the more expensive version, but they also are offering it in 154cm to make this one more affordable. All right, let's get into the full-size knives that are going to top off my list, and I'm going to go in no particular order, but I will grab from my budget knives first. So first budget knife to make the list is going to be the Mini Grouper, and I've heard people say that they don't like the laminate carbon fiber on top of the G10, and I get that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I personally think it's done extremely well. I think the way that they did this so that it still has the texture and feels like carbon fiber on the top, because it's a layer of carbon fiber on the top. It's very nice. It's very well done, but they have a G10 variant if you're not into that. Nitro V seems to be done very well. I've been very pleased. It seems like better done, meaning it doesn't seem as impacted by heavy duty cutting as I've seen on some softer 14C28N and Nitro V. So they're doing a good heat treat, full flat grind, super slicey, very useful utility blade shape here. That's still going to allow you to perform puncture task, and it is a very pokey knife. I'm able to get all 4 fingers on here, very comfortable ergos, and this is Kaiser's first knife with the top liner lock system on here, the compression lock. So same thing that I just described, ironically, on the Hedgehog is going to be the lock that you have here. The difference being is they're running multi-row bearings inside of a nylon washer, so a Delrin style washer. So very guillotine fall here on this particular knife. So you just got to make sure you keep the fingers out of the blade path, which you can do with this, but very crispy detent, man. It's very well done. And I've really enjoyed this one a lot. Definitely in contention for knife of the year for me. The next budget knife is going to be a more full-size knife. It's been a while since I've had Civivi on a list of something that I've carried a bunch of, but this is the Corx. You got a Nitro V, also seems to be done very well. Good factory edge, nice hollow ground blade on here, which is nice. You got a clip point. Full-size knife. This is over a 3.5-inch blade. I think it's closer to like 3.6 or 3.7 if I remember right. Going from memory, don't shoot me here. And then what I really like about this one, they did a shredded G10. I've never seen this before. Somebody mentioned it looks like a stone countertop, or a granite countertop, which is very accurate, like a icy look to it with a gunstock pattern. You got some speed holes with some design lines on it. You got a deep carry pocket clip that is reversible, liner lock, stamped ceramic bearings, very smooth action, excellent detent. Even with the blade being as big as it is, the detent has been tuned extremely well. As you can see there, I missed a little bit on that reverse flick. Comfortable ergos. It is thin. It does carry fairly light for its size, and just a great knife. I wanted to have a full-size one on here because I do like carrying this one a bunch, and this one was really easy to make the list. And just for a comparison, since we had the grouper here, you can see the Corx definitely larger by far. All right, let's put these away. Got a couple more to get into. One of the knives on here is going to be one of the longest carried knives in my collection. That's going to be my Benchmade Bugout. This is the one my wife got me like 3 years ago. Blade HQ exclusive in 20 CV with the gray G10. I got this one on sale for 130 when we got this one. When I got this one, when she got it for me, it was on sale. They're now $250, I want to say, which is bananas when I think about what I paid for this. I did upgrade to the Applied Weapon Tech scales. I really like this Tiffany blue. I do have the, I think they call it the Blacksmith edition for the Lynch Northwest deep carry clip on here. Very nice pocket clip. The scales and the clip to me completely changed it. And then I did an acid etch on here a long time ago. And as you can see, I have used this knife a ton. I think this is the second or third edge on here, and the 20 CV done really well, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I will say when I had my Titanium scales on here, it was a little bit better dialed in, but I also think that's because I was still using the factory hardware. All of this hardware, I think, is sourced from either Etsy or from Amazon, and it is very poorly finished. So, actually, I think the hardware itself with the standoffs, I think are Applied Weapon Tech, but I think the pivot is either Amazon or Etsy, as is the thumb studs and the crossbar lock. The only one that's poorly finished is going to be the one that's the pivot. So I'm not quite sure which one that is, but it's a great knife. If you can get them on sale, especially the 20 CV with the G10, you know, $130 USA made. It's a great knife. A lot of people, justifiably so, upset about the price gouge that we're seeing from Benchmade on these here lately, and I've heard that their customer service has fell off some, which is unfortunate to hear because they have actually been really good. When I first got my bug out and getting the Omega Springs dialed out, taken care of, you know, and I think these are aftermarket Omega Springs. I just decided to go ahead and upgrade after they replaced the other one. So it was like one side went, sent it in, they fixed it. Then the other side went, sent it in, they fixed it. And it was fine for a little while, but I just elected to go with some stiffer, stronger springs for a couple of reasons. And these springs have been in there for 2 years. So I don't know if that helps anybody with any concern about Omega Springs, but the stiffer ones, the stronger ones have held up really well. All right, so the next one, also a gift for my wife, also one of the more long-standing knives in my collection, and you can see a little bit worse for wear on this one. I think there's some tape residue on there. Usually I'm really good about cleaning my knives off before we get to this point. But anyway, you can see that this has got some wear on it. This is still the factory edge, believe it or not, on this Magna Cut, which is done extremely well. All I've done is strop it, but it does, you can see like the belt lines on it a little bit. The static wash, not that great on this example. The one that I had before this one was done better. You have the frost fat carbon inlay on this one, knurling done on both sides, and then micro milling, really hard to see on camera on here. Great EDC size. I love the taller nature of this handle. I'm able to get all 4 fingers on here comfortably. Great clip point. I do have skiffs in here. This one here, a little bit on the guillotine side. I usually let it fall to the thumbnail and then just one shake and it falls by itself. No side to side, no up and down, no lock rock has developed. It has been an absolute solid knife, and you know, because my wife gave me these, I carry and use them a ton to make sure that I get total enjoyment out of these. But those are the two from my wife that are on the list. We are getting down towards the end, so I'm just going to go, I think I'll go in order of price. So the Militals come in at $150. This one here on the pre-order when I picked it up was $210. Beautiful DLC, S45EN clip point. You got a very neutral handle here with a either micarta or carbon fiber inlay, depending on which version you get. Mine has skiffs, and I did strengthen the detent on it and tighten the pivot as far as I could go without feeling like it's not smooth on the close, just because it was a little too guillotine for me. So I did actually tighten it up a little bit, tighten up the detent a little bit, just to slow it down a little, because it would drop to the thumbnail. Very satisfying deployment, all means of deployment, thumb, reverse flick, top flipper, front flipper, depending on how you want to deploy it, all have excellent detent. Very thin slicey knife. The DLC on it is done extremely well. The purple haze is very good looking. I debated going with the 80s because I have so much 80s going on right now, but it sold out really quick, and I just, I don't want to upgrade for the sake of upgrading or swap just for the sake of swapping. I've got a very good model. I will say the DLC or the PVD, I really think it's PVD on the handle, and I think the blade itself is the DLC or the polished DLC, because it scratches like typical coated. You know what I'm saying? When you get coated titanium from manufacturers that have PVD on it, it's strong and it's not getting through to the titanium, but it doesn't hold up as well. But I've carried it a ton. The S45EN on this is done extremely well. I've stropped it, and I was curious how it would be with the DLC with the strop, and it stropped up nicely. I think as long as you are properly preparing your strop, it's going to be fine. You may need some diamond stones to get through that DLC to sharpen it, but it's performed really well. And again, the S45EN has held a fantastic edge. Really, really do like that one a bunch. All right, next is going to be one that I've had a little bit longer, so we're going to go with not longer than the Militol, but longer than what's coming up after that. This is the Tempest knife Fractus. This one here has really been a joy to carry, a joy to use. Nice spear point blade shape. S90V steel, which means it holds an edge very, very well. Again, with the concepts, I'm not a huge fan of the race washers just because it does feel a little stiff. If I go any looser, I have found that the pivot just wants to back out. So it's a concept thing. It's not really with the design of this knife. And then I just don't like they use the button head screws that stick out here. QSP did one on the Volt, and I think they did they recessed it in a little bit further, so there's, you do have a little bit, it's not smooth here, but they recessed it so that the button head screw kind of did like it does on the scale here, where it kind of sits in and there's nothing really sticking out, but they chamfered the edges where the clip goes in, if that makes sense. So the clip sits in further so the button head screw doesn't stick out, but it's kind of rounded so that's not sharp. So they kind of went about it a different approach that I think I like a little bit better. Great access to the lock bar, good ergos, obviously because it is race washers. It is running on their factory stamped bearings. Actually, are these caged? It's been a minute since I took it apart. Oh, wow, the way they hide it, it's really hard to tell. Oh, no, they're nylon, so it is ceramic bearings on nylon washers, so good. That'll help keep it from being susceptible to dirt and debris. It does get down to a pretty thin edge, but it's definitely not the thinnest edge I have found, and that is because he did intend this to be a user work knife. It is premium materials, but he built it so that you could definitely. Next up, I haven't had it quite as long, but it comes in pretty much similar at price point as the last three, and that is going to be the fairly new release. This is the Dvo Knives Tallboy. This is the Black Pearl. This is being built by Kubi, and they just continue to wow me with their build quality here, guys. You got a hollow ground reverse tanto with a little bit of belly. So modified reverse tanto, S90V. Their belt satin's looking really good. Thumb stud with opening hole. Cool to see Dvo doing that. I actually prefer this combination when it's done like this because it's very satisfying, much more so than a thumb hole to open it with the thumb stud. And then you got the opening hole to reverse flick. Way generous access to the lock bar. I think they could have brought that down even more without sacrificing. Like, even with my larger hands, I have room left over to spare going into that hole and disengaging the lock bar. Super smooth. I did switch over to skiffs here. The black pearl camo carbon looks really nice. I like that they did the black accents and the black pivot collar, and then a little bit of satin to match the blade as well. Very beautiful, very useful blade shape, very comfortable, nice thin profile on it as well. And lots of space for me with the larger hands. I love that my palm can rest on that blade handle or that knife handle, and I still have lots of room to choke up, lots of blade edge to use. This one's been a joy to use and very surprising, satisfying user for me, and I really do enjoy the exposed liner lock. I like this so much that I have two versions, but we just brought out the black pearl today to show off that I'm carrying this one. This has definitely been in the rotation a ton. All right, last but not least, I know we're really long in this video. These EDC videos take a minute to get through all the gear and talk to you about them, but we're going to show off my top carried knife. Made it back to the top again. This is the KWU Padre. They recently released the Compadre, which is a little bit smaller. So if you have smaller hands, or you felt like this was just going to be a little too big based on what other reviewers had shown you, because for me, it only hangs out a little bit back on the end. Now I know it looks like it here, but my hand's not relaxed. My pinky, because of the way that this curves, kind of angles back into the ring finger a little bit there, but great belly, great user. I'm amazed how well the stonewash has held up as much as I carry this one. I'm amazed at a couple of the finishes on here, the way that they have held up. I thought for sure, and I've had the bug out longer, and I honestly have cut through worse materials, I think, than I have with the Padre, but in person, I can see the snail trails all out here on this one, similar to where you see it landing on the bug out. But for some reason, the residue and the tape to my etch has really just stuck out a ton. But double multi-row bearings, you're getting Timascus pivot collar, you're getting Vanex. You're getting Vanex super clean, titanium geared spacer. I think the only thing that's steel is the pivot, which is fine by me. I'd rather that being the most necessary piece to have the steel to make sure that you don't strip or anything happen to that one. And I think everything else is titanium, which is cool. Super good action, very good sounds, very good access to the lock bar. I think this is the highest rated knife in my collection. I have this one at an 8.4. I think the next closest in my collection on my rating system that I've introduced this year, I think this is at 8.1 or 8.2. Can't remember what it was. And these two just carry so well together. These two are great companions together. I like to carry, and I know that I said the companion carries we had done already because of the slender nature of this one, even though it is Dvo's biggest, it's still not like a large knife, a super large knife, I should say. It does, again, slender profile, thin, lightweight. It does land in the Rambler XL pouch a lot, and then this is another companion carry that I like to do with these two as well. I like matching these up, drop points, clip point, and then the modified reverse Tonto. I like to carry those together a lot as well, and then these will actually get carried together often. I do the 80s though when I do this one, just because I think it's a very nice contrasting color. I'd love to get this one in 80s, but I don't think he can get concept to make any. But you can see how much bigger the Tempest Fractus is compared to the Tall Boy. And then for the other ones, I generally I don't think I'm gonna be able to get all these on the screen this way. I might have to go this way, and I know that's gonna be tough because my face is up there in that corner, so we'll see how this goes. But these are my most top carried folders that I've had in the pocket here this month. I definitely don't think I'll be able to get all of them up here, so I do apologize if I can't. Maybe that one under the screen for my budget knife, and then the companion carries and stuff, I just won't be able to get those on the screen. I do apologize, guys. Let me know what you've been carrying lately. Give me that pocket check down in the comments below. And what was your favorite of everything that I showed off today? And did you know about some of the other gear that I carry? Thanks for hanging out to this point of the video. I know it was a long one. These updates do take a little bit more time. If you enjoyed, hit that like on your way out. Links are down below. When you guys use them, it really does help me out with the channel. It allows me to get stuff that I cut with, knives to review. It lets vendors and merchants know that I've sent you their way to keep me in the game. So thank you for using them. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. Special thank you to my channel members out there. You guys are amazing. I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.